Good morning. Welcome. I am Carl Rust. I'm a member of the board of this congregation. Welcome, everybody. Look at my notes here. We are the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Elkhart. We are a welcoming community, encouraging religious freedom, nurturing individual spiritual and ethical growth, celebrating diversity, and promoting a just and sustainable world. We just want to welcome everybody. Today, after the service, we will have our virtual coffee hour. We encourage you to stick around. And we're in the process right now of making some key decisions about our future. We welcome everyone's input. We really want everybody's input. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, write them down or put them in the chat or bring them up at the coffee hour, or we will be having small group meetings and large group meetings and all kinds of meetings. So we really want to have everybody's input. We kind of made a mistake and we put out that everybody would have been contacted by now. And obviously some of you haven't been contacted, so that's not the case. Our intention is through this process of small group meetings and other meetings that we make sure that we touch base with everyone. So it wouldn't have happened before today, but it will definitely happen. I would say in January and February, our goal is to talk to everyone who's a member and everyone we can think of who is a friend. We encourage the friends that have been attending or virtually or in person over the years to think about becoming a member. We really would welcome you if you've been thinking about it, or maybe you didn't even know it was a thing. So we welcome you to come in and be a member. And if you have any questions about any of that, you can ask people that you see on the screen, board members. Look at the uufe.org page, send us a message, and we will definitely get in touch with you. For Fellowship Life, we do have a couple announcements, and I think if you have something for Fellowship Life, you should feel free to unmute in a minute and share it with us. I think I'm going to call on Pam first, or maybe Oksana would like to talk about Vern Thomas.
I can talk about Vern. Okay.
Okay, let me get you
Pam
spotlighted
can.
here. Oksana, hold on.
Oh, you go ahead, Oksana. You're the one who told me anyway.
Okay. Vern was in the emergency room Friday night. He got there about 10 minutes before I got there. Dwight and I went, but they would only let one person in because at the time he was not yet an admitted patient. So I went in there.
Oksana, you're muted.
All right, now can you hear me? Okay, he got there Friday night and they would only let one of us in. Dwight and I both went because he wasn't admitted yet. And so I went in there and I helped him talk, listening to what he was trying to say. And whatever questions he couldn't answer, I answered as best I could because I know pretty much his whole situation. Maybe I don't know his whole medical history, but I gave him the best I could. He had a chest x-ray and it did not look good. I'm not an expert by any means, but it was one lung was completely black and one lung was black and there was just a little white down at the bottom. So they took blood. The doctor came in and talked to him or me. And I was there till about 9:30, I think. And then he got it. The admissions lady came in and got all his information, but he could not get into a room because the hospital is full. So I called yesterday. Well, yeah, that was Friday. Then yesterday I called and he was still in the emergency room because they still don't have a room for him. But now they will allow 2 people in to visit him. And they took him down for, he had a lung treatment, a breathing treatment. And then they took him down to empty his lungs of liquid. And I called again and they said he's doing much better, but he's really tired and he sleeps a lot. So that's as much as I know right now because we haven't been to see him, but I'm hoping to go this afternoon. That's my report. That's it.
Thanks, Oksana. Sorry to hear about that. So now I'm going to call on Ken, if I can find him here on my list. Ken, what'd you call?
Yes, I just wanted to announce that this past week, I think Wednesday, we were able to send out all of the pledge reports, the annual pledge reports to everyone. So you should be receiving those in the mail soon. So keep your eyes peeled and let me know if you don't get it right away and we'll figure out what's going on. Thank you.
Thanks, Ken. Is there anybody else have any announcements for Fellowship Life? I can't see everybody. Let me change my view here so I can see everybody. Okay. Well, we will continue on with the service.
We ring the gong 3 times. Once for those who came before us and made a place for us. Once for those who are here now. And once for those who will come after us and build on the dream. The chalice lighting today is by Cindy Terlazzo. Amidst the swirl of life's challenges, fears, and even moments of crisis, I make time to gaze at the night sky, to see the vastness there, and to remember that this moment in time is but a flicker, not an inconsequential flicker, for what I do and think now does matter. My work, though, is to let the debris of this world pass by, while I anchor myself to what I know is true: love, kindness, compassion, and caring for this precious life, this precious planet, and all that call this place home. This is my North Star. With love as my guide, how can I possibly go wrong?
To dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. This is our covenant.
Well, today, last week, we talked about where are we? And this week, the board is going to reflect a little bit, some members of the board are going to reflect a little bit on where do we want to go? So these are just some possibilities for what our future might be for the short and long term. We are earnestly seeking your input. Stick around for the virtual coffee hour today, after today's service, to voice any questions, concerns, or comments that you have. And we will be holding small group meetings on Zoom to begin with, to allow everyone to give input and ask questions. And hopefully we will be able to make some arrangements to meet in person. So I'm going to call on several board members to present on different topics. And I think we decided Ken was going to talk about finances first.
Yes, can you hear me? Can you all hear me? Okay. Sorry? Okay. I want to make sure everyone can hear me because I'm using these earbuds and it's something I'm not used to. From a fiscal perspective, as the treasurer of this congregation, the question being posed today is, where are we headed? As far as the future of this congregation is concerned, the answer to this question is in the hands of the members of this fellowship. I am not speaking just of our financial future. I'm speaking of our future as a fellowship, a congregation of liberal-minded individuals who find a connection with one another which stands the test of time. An anonymous writer in our hymnal said it well. We are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other. The commitment requires some soul searching for all of us and a recognition that it will take an effort from all of us to make it work. We just passed our 60th anniversary as an organized fellowship. I doubt if any of our fellow or founding members could have imagined that we would be in the place we are in right now, but I'm sure that they realized, even at the beginning, that the road into the future would not always be smooth. I have asked several of you since we first heard of Reverend DeBeck's decision to resign, what brought you here in the first place, and what keeps you in this fellowship? I suspect I will get a chance to engage with more of you as we examine our future together in the next few weeks and months. Some of you answered that the Unitarian Universalist way of life was all you had ever known from an early age, and that you believe in the 7 principles, soon to be 8, which allows us to successfully conduct our lives and express our care for the world. Others answered that the camaraderie and fellowship attracted you here, and that you keep these connections as a method of stabilizing yourselves in an ever-changing world of uncertainty. Still others were moved by Reverend Amy's Sunday services and enjoyed her programs, specifically mentioning the Christmas programs and the Halloween holidays. Whatever motivates you to continue to maintain a relationship with this group, the board is hopeful that we can all make this journey together, and we also hope to add to our membership as we move ahead. Given our small congregation, we may find it best to use whatever money we have to engage guest speakers and use video access to other congregations to supplement our services. This may especially be attractive to us as we begin this process. We could also make effective use of the talents that we have in this congregation to have lay-led Sunday presentations on a variety of subjects sanctioned by the UUA. We could do this until we feel we are on solid enough financial ground to afford a part-time or interim minister. As an alternative to this approach, we could evaluate the status of the endowment and ask ourselves whether we could afford to supplement the income we received from our pledge program to hire a full-time minister. There are obvious pros and cons to any approach that we take. The point of this discussion today is to make it clear that the board is here to help guide the fellowship, but we're not here to tell you what to do. The ultimate decision is left to the congregation. You, the members of this fellowship, are the masters of your own destiny. We as a board can give you tools and encouragement and have small group meetings, and we can be here to listen. But this is ultimately your congregation, and we need all of you to pitch in to make it succeed. Pitch in with your ideas and your opinions about what you enjoy in the services and what you may not enjoy so much. Also pitch in physically, helping with tasks around the campus. I'm not sure many of you know this, but we spent quite a bit of money this year to have a lawn service come in and do our fall cleanup. This is unusual for us and has something to do with the problems that we face because of the COVID situation. I wanted to encourage everyone, if you have questions, to please stay for the Zoom coffee hour, and we'll try and field as many of those questions as possible. Thank you.
Thanks, Ken. I think next we'll have Mike talk about membership.
Okay. Hello. We have, as I said last week, our membership number is 82 members. And, we've seen a steady drop in membership for many years now. But I would like us to start setting goals. I mean, I have been going through the old archives, and I was surprised to find that in 2002, they had set a goal to have 135 members. And looking at the archives before that, that seemed to be a very ambitious goal. They actually made it. In fact, they had, at one time that year, they had 141 members. So one thing I would like to see us do is try to at least try to grow to 100 members by 2030. That's 18 members. It might be ambitious for us, but I think we get to there, then we can build back up to 120 or 110, 120, whatever. But I think we need to do that. How could we do that? Well, I mean, we need young families with children. So we need, a real commitment toward our RE. And, it may be that, what I would prefer, this is where I want us to be, is that, if a child over 3 shows up, we have an adult willing to provide some sort of experience for that child. If we can't do that, then our services probably need to be revamped to include a child-friendly portion. We recently found out, I was at a conference Friday night, Zoom concert, sorry. And found out that there's a UU Musicians Association. That's not the name anymore, but that's what you could find them on Google under. And they offer, copyright-free, music that can be shared. So maybe we want to look into that as part of our music. So we would have more. I'm not criticizing what we've had. I like Carl. I like Lizzie. I like the Frenches, Patty and Chris. But maybe we could have more varied experiences. I would like us to see if we do get members, or even with the ones we have, to have, to enable people to participate more on committees. At least, try to solicit them to be on committees. And for our committees to let the members know, when and where meetings are, who is on the committee, and to encourage either attendance via Zoom or whatever, or in person if we're to that stage, or at least sharing ideas and treating the ideas with respect. Basically, I think our message for a membership should be, our mission, to me, is to attract, to encourage, to cultivate, and to retain. So.
Thanks, Mike. A lot of good points coming up today. I'm enjoying this myself because I didn't know what everybody was going to say. Pam is going to talk about vision. You muted, Pam.
No, now I'm not. Thank you. We read our mission statement at the beginning of every service, and I don't know if we know that that's our mission statement, but when we start saying, what is it? Welcoming community, encouraging religious, blah, 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 all the stuff we say, that long sentence, that is our mission statement right now. Last week, I talked a bit about mission and vision and covenant statements and how important they are to the life of our congregation. As mentioned in the board retreat we had in August, the facilitator from our district recommended that we revisit our current mission statement, as all things come down from the mission statement. Our programming, our social justice work, our financial decisions, our strategic plan for the future. Visioning is the end point, expands on that mission statement and says in what ways that mission statement is vital to our congregation. And covenant is how we are as a congregation. How can we be in community with one another and with our outside world? But how do we laugh, cry, sometimes argue, agree? How do we plan to be together through the hard times and the easy times? Our last mission statement was written and voted on around 2007. So perhaps it is time to revisit and bring it up to our current time with our current members, because we are a different people than we were in 2007, or many of us are. We may look back and find that it's just exactly what we want, but we need to go through the process perhaps, and it involves all of us. And it will take some time, and it will take thought, and it will cause each of us to be search inside ourselves for our own values and how we want to be here in our community at church and also in Elkhart, Indiana. And there will be more of this. We'll be talking more about this as time progresses, because it is an entity unto itself. Figuring out what our mission statement could or should be and how we want to go about it. Right now we have lots on our plate and small group meetings to deal with what's going on now and our first steps forward without a minister now. We have lots to think about and things to do, but when some of that's completed, perhaps we could then begin the process of redefining our mission statement and vision endpoints. As we move forward, perhaps we could start thinking about a few things. One, why must Uufe exist in Elkhart, Indiana? Not why can we or why do we, but why must Uufe continue to be present in Elkhart, Indiana? What do you believe is fundamental purpose of religion for you? What is your current calling as a UU? And are you following that? These are thoughts to think about as we eventually will look at our mission statement. What makes your faith liberal? And how are we, or how could we be demonstrating that at UUFE? How has your faith transformed you, and how can it transform the world? And finally, what currently makes sharing the UU message difficult throughout society, and specifically Elkhart, Indiana? And how can we overcome those difficulties? Those are just things to start thinking about as we go about our other business. And then hopefully when we can start thinking about our mission statement and our visioning, or how we want to play out that mission statement. Thank you.
Thanks, Pam. Now we're going to hear from Dwight on worship arts. Let me spotlight him here. Where's that? Okay, here we go.
My wife needs help. Really? Oh, wait, that came out wrong. Listen, folks. I've seen Oksana do things that she never has done and is planning to do, but it all kind of stems from your participation in our services and how we move forward, sharing each of our talents, our skills, and our abilities with each other and our new members that Mike mentioned. I think that will be part of the new marketing that we do, the outreach we do. So services are supposed to be entertaining, informative, enlightening. We've got a pretty good structure here. We've got a pretty good crew. I know that we've got, how many on today? 28, but probably a couple of those are extras. I know Carl's got an extra phone on there, but there's a core here. People know about politics and religion, sewing. I see Carol Lee is there. Steve, you're a sales guru. Laura, you're an instructor. Bev and Art, you've got a lifetime of experience that you could share, and so on and so forth. I don't have too many skills or abilities. I'm still learning. I'm still trying to broaden my horizon so I can contribute. But I know that Oksana could talk about 28 years in the military and how that pertains to being a UU, how it's shaped her life. The most important thing is that we as a UU family feel comfortable sharing what we know and what we love with each other, whether it be a craft, whether it be a skill, whether it be a philosophical way of life. But we all have something that we can contribute. And when you start getting into small groups, we're going to probably talk about some of those things and how we can bring your skill and ability to the conversation. We all have traveled. We could talk about our travels and how it's affected us and how it has shaped our liberal view on religion and life as a human being. So help my wife. Let's get her through this tough time. Let's help Oksana stop the struggle she's in. Make her life better, more rewarding, a more loving experience. And help me. I can't do this by myself, folks. I need help. She needs help. Thank you.
Thanks, Dwight. Yeah. Just reminds me that we have to keep our sense of humor through everything. So I'm going to talk about the future of our shared ministry. And last week we talked about what a shared ministry is. And moving forward, we've got to keep all the good stuff that came out of this experience, we have to keep. But we hopefully will go on to bigger and better things. Where do we want to go with our ministry? Our ministry. And I think we've learned some valuable lessons from COVID and Amy leaving. And here's a few things that stand out to me. We have a lot of people who value our fellowship and our ministry and want to make sure it survives. I mean, we've got a lot of people on the call today. We had a lot last week. We can persevere through dire circumstances. And we can come out of this process better and stronger than we were when we started. We do have some questions we have to answer. One is, what level of professional ministry do we need and desire? Very important. Number two, kind of what Ken referred to, what level of ministry are we willing to pay for? And how are we going to pay for it? And number three, how much responsibility are we willing to assume to perform roles and fundraise and pay for what we need and desire? So here's some paths that we might consider taking. Nobody's made a decision yet, as Ken referred to also. We could seek a full-time settled minister. That's one way we could go. We could seek a part-time or contractual minister. We could stay as a lay-led ministry. We could seek an interim minister to help us decide key questions about our future. And I put down number 5, I put question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, because the future is unknown and there may be other possibilities that I haven't even thought about. Some of you have much more experience with this than I do. I attended, I think one or two services when Gordon was minister, and then dropped out for a long time, came back, it was Amy. So I've never been through the process of changing, but you all, some of you have more than once. So you have a lot of experience that we can draw on. And here's something I didn't understand, and maybe you all knew it, but I didn't understand it. I talked to Lisa Presley at the regional office on Friday. And if we decide to engage in the search for an interim minister, all the other options are still open. So we can still, engaging an interim minister does not obligate us to seek a settled minister in the future. So we could still do part-time, we could still do lay-led. After the interim process is concluded, and part of their job, part of the job of the interim minister, and again, some of you have been through this, so you know this, part of the job of the interim minister is to help us decide, what do we want to do, what's important to us, and what do we want in the form of, what kind of ministry do we want in the future? The paperwork to seek an interim minister is due in April. So that gives us a couple months to consider it. But just because we submit the paperwork doesn't mean we're going to be, snap our fingers and have an interim minister. Right now, ministerial positions that are, in other words, openings, churches that are seeking ministers outnumber candidates. So there's no guaranteed timeline. If we decide to seek an interim minister, there's no guarantee. It's possible we could have someone in place by early summer, but no guarantee of that. To me, and this is my personal opinion right now, I'm not speaking for the board because we haven't really talked about it a lot, but to me, it might be worth the cost to seek an interim minister to give us sufficient time to contemplate our past and future and make the right decision for years to come. In the meantime, we will be able to secure help with sermons, pastoral care, and other areas through the UUA. And Lisa sent me some valuable links, and we're going to continue those conversations with the UUA. They're there to help us, and they have resources that we can draw on. And I also want to encourage you to not be too worried about the current state of things. The board is working on plans to have a limited number of people in person inside the fellowship safely soon. So watch for announcements after the board meeting. I'm very optimistic about our future. In fact, I'm excited for the opportunity for change and revitalization of the fellowship. The future's so bright, I got to wear shades. Next week, we will be on Zoom again. We will have a guest speaker, Reverend Jimmy Clifton. And I was going to tell you the topic and I forgot to type it. Let me look real quick. I lost my place. He's going to speak about moving beyond intention. And if I understand, and maybe Oksana will jump in, but if I understand his background, he is a UU minister. He is a minister. So I'm looking forward to hearing that message next week. And then the week after that, we're going to, I think what my intentions right now, and don't hold me to this, but my intentions right now are to still have a Zoom presence, but we're inviting you to attend another service. But I think what I'm going to try to do is still have the Zoom kind of framework, but then we can share the service. So we can still have the interaction with each other. If that turns out to be impossible for some reason, we'll let you know, and you can still access that service whenever you want to, but I thought it would be still kind of cool to still have our Zoom presence, our interaction with each other, our virtual coffee hour, and then we can use that other service as the meat of the day, but still be able to get together, those of us that want to do that. Okay, I think we're ready to go on to the next part of the service. And again, I want to thank everybody for coming today. And hopefully you'll stick around for the coffee hour. So we've got a hymn and then the benediction. So let me get that up here.
Carl, I think Oksana had something she wanted to say. She had her
Okay.
hand up.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't see her. So let me, hold on, Oksana. Let me spotlight you if I can find you. This is kind of weird doing this.
I don't need to be spotlighted. It's fine. I'm just going to say that Jimmy Clifton was ordained a UU minister, but he says he identifies as a Christian UU, and his message is going to come from the love chapter, which is 1 Corinthians 13, which I read, and it doesn't even seem really about so much love as being charitable. That's it.
Ooh, I love the words to that.
Yeah, go ahead, Pam.
I love the words to that last hymn. Those words were perfect for us. We have been blessed this morning by who we are and by the hope and promise inherent in the community we can build here. Remember that hope and promise. Remember that you are a unique and needed part of it. Live its beauty, tell its story, go in peace, and return with life. So be it. Short and sweet.